Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Deception Stop Us. Stop Us. Yeah. Today, we're going to talk about the Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency. Okay, we're going to talk about their role in all of this and how they were used as a immobilizing mechanism. Let me say that again. They were attempted to be used as an immobilizing mechanism, a mechanism to immobilize Moses. Okay. Now, as we all know, if you've been following, you've been hearing, you know about what's been going on so far, but we're going to talk about how they play into this whole thing. They basically tried to use the Child Support Enforcement Agency as a tapping out weapon. Let me go into detail about what I mean. Let me go into detail about what I mean by that. So basically, they tried to use the Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency to apply pressure to Moses McCormick so that he could settle out of court. So basically, they pulled out all the stops and they used every weapon that they could possibly use to try to get him to be frustrated to settle out of court. Now, what they did was they 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 uh, they issued a void judgment in the domestic court, and they tried to uphold that void judgment. They tried to continue to uphold that void judgment as it relates to the child support issue. They tried to uphold that and make it legit, but it wasn't. And then they started sending him letters saying they're going to suspend his license. They're going to, all of these different threats. We're going to make it where you can't register your car and all of this stuff. This how nefarious these people are. They don't feel the people who initiated all this, all the organized, corrupted lawyers and corrupted people who were involved in this. All they see is money. They have been doing this to people. I can tell just how they have it set up. They have been doing this to people. It's a system that they've developed where they incorporate the police department, they incorporate the child support enforcement agency, and they abuse the processes of the court. So let me explain to you what I mean by that. I'm kind of getting off topic from the child support agency, but let me just take a little slide here. Basically, what they do is they'll abuse if you go into court and you're trying to uh, do the right thing and you're trying to use the law and get the remedy that you need. Well, basically, they feel like it's their law, not yours. It's their court, not yours. So they're going to do what they want to do. But again, people, you must understand that when they have an attitude like that and they're just not going to follow precedent, or they're not going to follow certain rules and guidelines, they know that they can only do that temporarily. They know that. You just have to keep fighting. But with that being said, we're going to get back on target with this child support enforcement agency. So basically, that's what they did. They tried to make it really hard for him, and they tried to make him pay undisclosed amount of money a month, which was unreasonable. So basically, what they had to do was they had to rip his kids. Let me explain the tactic. Let's explain the tactic. What they had to do was they had to rip his kids away from him, okay, by issuing a void judgment, so that they can say they want that he needs to pay child support. Now, anybody in their right mind knows that when two people are married, okay, and when two people are married and they're taking care of the children, it's a shared parenting thing, okay? Yeah, in Ohio, okay, in Ohio, and all. I'm moving too fast. I'm a little.
Yeah, I forgot about
I'm moving too fast. All constitutional rights invoked, none waived, for this video and every other video that we made and will ever make. Okay? Now, with that being said, what they needed to do was they needed to get him in a situation so that um, they stripped away the kids. So once they stripped away the kids, then they used the child support enforcement agency as an immobilization mechanism to get him to settle out of court and try to use it as a bargaining tool. Now, it wasn't going to work. It didn't work, and it won't work in a billion years. Okay, because it was unconstitutional how they obtained the order to try to enforce child support. Okay, now in Ohio, if you have shared parenting, I don't know about any other states, but I can speak for Ohio. But I'm pretty sure it probably works similar in other states. If you have shared parenting, there is no child support. Let me explain. Let me say that again. If you have shared parenting with your children, there is no child support. Okay? So a lot of people like to use, especially here in the state of Ohio, a lot of people like to use the child support system as a as like a scary thing. No, just take care of your children. That's it. That's all you gotta do. It's shared parenting. That's it. It's just that simple. It's like people, they want to complicate things and make it so complicated because they want to make money. They want to make money. Let me say that again. People want to make things seem more complicated than they really are, more harder than it really is, because they want to make money. They want you to feel like, oh, I can't do that. I can't go. I can't do that. Or, oh, I just paid the child support. Oh, yeah. That's why these people have been successful doing these things that they've been doing, because people tap out.
They
They're
don't know that they don't understand the Constitution. Again, as we were as we talked about before, the biggest problem with this, the reason why they're able to get away with this child support stuff, because people don't know their rights. They don't understand the Constitution. People don't have time.
Mhm.
People got to work, and people
and
lawyers.
And just like I just did
Mhm.
a few minutes ago, when I invoked all the constitutional rights and I said none waived for this video, a lot of times if you don't invoke your right, it's automatically waived. So if you don't know you have the right, then that's the situation you're in. So getting back on target with this child support, these people are crazy because we went in there. I he signed an authorization form and gave them authorization to speak with me.
Mhm.
Okay, and so the person in charge, which was a manager, I don't remember her name right offhand, but I have it. But he filled out a release form to allow me to speak for him and deal with the matters concerning with the child support. So I had to call up there one time because I had to check some things. So I got a representative on the phone, and she said, "I can't talk to you." I said, "Well, yes, you can. You need to look at the notes in your computer. You absolutely can talk to me because there's a release on file." Okay. And she was like, "Well, I don't care if it's a release on file or not. It's against our policy. We can't talk to you." And then I said, "Okay, well, I'll let you talk to him. I'll put him on speakerphone and he'll talk." She said, "It's against our policy. We can't do speakerphone. It's against our policy." So I said, "Okay." So I recorded her saying all of that because, we like to record. And she said all of that. And so I said, "Okay, we need to take a trip down there." So we took a trip down there, and I asked to speak with the manager who we signed the release form with. And and she came out, and I asked her. I said, I said, "I spoke to one of your employees," and I told her the name of the employee. I'm not going to tell her name now, but I told her the name of the employee. I said, "She told me that she didn't care that the release was on file, and she told me that she don't care if the release was on file or if I put him on speakerphone to speak with her. She said speakerphone is against her policy. And at the same time I'm explaining this to the manager, her face is just she's putting all these different grotesque looks on her face because she's embarrassed and disgusted because the representative lied to me because I followed the manager's directions. And she said if I needed to call, then that release form would allow me to speak to a representative via telephone. So we provided them with the release and they didn't honor it. Is again, that was a form of abusing a process. That was a form of abuse. You see what I mean? So what we did is we talked to the manager and she said, well, I'll talk to her. I don't know why she told you that. I don't know why she said that. Yeah, I don't know. We know. We know why. We know why. God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's just cut the shenanigans. But yeah, she was really embarrassed. Really embarrassed. And again, like I said, these people they use the child support enforcement, the Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency in Columbus, located downtown. They use them as basically they tried to use them as an immobilizing mechanism. But so basically, what they did was they tried to use a higher number. They tried to use a higher number. They calculated his child support based off a higher number that was false, that was not correct.
Mm-hmm.
They used that calculation when they had the right calculation.
Mm-hmm.
They used the wrong one purposely. They used the wrong one to try to fulfill, again, their agenda to use the agency as a mobilizing mechanism. All right, this is what's going on in Columbus, in Franklin County, in Columbus, Ohio. This is what's going on. This is what's being done.
And on the back of a form, they have an appeal.
Oh, let me get there. On the back of a form, it says any decision as far as like the Child Support Enforcement Agency, you have a right to appeal. So when he put that when he put the paper into appeal, they time stamped it,
Mm-hmm.
so it's official. We made the appeal in a timely manner because they I think it was like it had to be 7 to 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be 7 to 10 days from the time that they sent the letter that they sent. So they didn't honor it. They didn't honor it. They said, "Oh, we never received it. We never received it. We never got it. We never received it." Oh, you never received it?
Mm-hmm.
We got you on camera. We recorded when we walked in and delivered it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the timestamp copy. These people are impossible.
We went back to address that.
Let me say that again. These people are impossible. And when we went back to address that, he met with his caseworker. And then she said, well, just put this in and like
Yeah, trying to give me legal advice. You not even you she basically gave me legal advice. Because they got caught. See that what he just said, how they try to use a higher number to calculate the child support. When we tried to appeal that, they didn't want to give me. They lied and said we didn't receive it when the guy clearly he was there. We were recording. The guy took the paper, okay, and he purple timestamp on it.
mm-hmm.
Lady swear we didn't get it. We don't have it. We don't have it in our files.
So we took them an actual copy and said, here's the timestamp copy that you guys received. Okay? Cut the shenanigans. They continued on. They still continued on and continued on.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put him in such a financial straining situation. And then when they noticed they were caught, when he was in Judge Brown's courtroom in courtroom 66 in Columbus, Ohio, with the Franklin County Domestic Court, Judge Kim A. Brown, she said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I sat right there watching this whole thing. I went to every court date. I went to every court date watching the whole thing this entire year, just witnessing, just gathering evidence, just watching them and gathering evidence and things of that nature. But I watched them the whole time. While she was in the courtroom, she said, "Whoa, just put a motion in to get money from your wife." Put a motion in to get money from his wife?
I was flabbergasted.
What the?
I paused when she said that. I paused. I looked at her.
This was after he put a motion to recuse her in with the Ohio Supreme Court. He put a motion in to recuse her with the Ohio Supreme Court for violation of Canon Rule 2.3, bias, prejudice, and harassment. Okay? That's what happens. But she said, put a motion in to get money from your wife. Now, why would he have to put a motion in to get money from his wife when the Ohio law states, there's a statute that states, I'm not going to quote the statute here, but the statute states that when two people are married and they're going through a divorce, there's something in place called temporary spousal support or temporary orders, if you will. And what they have done, they perverted the temporary orders mechanism. What they do is they say, okay, well, we're gonna hold on to that. So they will, in the temporary order, deny you child support or whatever you're entitled to under the law. Is what they did with him. And then in the final order, they will try to make it how it need to go for the law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me say that again. In the final order, they'll try to make it. They'll make it. This is their little hustle. And when they know they want to abuse the process to get somebody to settle out of court, this is the mechanism that they have in place. Okay? This is a mechanism that they have in place when they want to get somebody to tap out, if you will. But basically, she should have never said that on the record. She said, put a motion in to get money from your wife. Now, why would he even need to do that when you guys know that she has the higher income,
Mm-hmm.
and that under the law in Ohio, under the law in the temporary orders, he should have been getting temporary spousal support and he should have been caring for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They couldn't have it like that. They said, no, we're not going to do it like that. So what they did was they used the Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency as a mechanism, because as long as he was taking care of his own children and as long as he had them, there was no child support. So what they did was they used an ex parte. Judge Kim Elena Brown used an ex parte. She facilitated an ex parte to rip his kids away from him. Now, they tried to use the police and it didn't work because the police specifically said, well, it's his right. He's married. It's his right to have his children. So what Kim Elena Brown did was she was being a smart ass. And what she did was she said, this time, I sat right there. This time, it ain't gonna be no police officers it's gonna be a sheriff deputy. I'm gonna send my sheriff deputies to do that and that and that. So they're using the sheriff deputies as the foot soldiers too to create unconstitutional acts. Calm. This is what's going on in Columbus, Ohio. This is what this judge did. Now, let me say this again for the record. A judge is not a person that's a dictator. A judge is not a person that you're supposed to be afraid of. A judge is not a person that you should be afraid of when going into the courtroom. The judge is the referee, okay? Just like the basketball court, You know how basketball, when they play basketball, they on the court. When you on the court, you got a referee. Okay? Let me say that again. Okay? In basketball, since Todd Sidoti wanted to talk about basketball tickets, let's
Yeah,
talk about basketball. In basketball, they're on the court. There's two sides, two teams. Huh?
you get it, guys. On the court, in the court.
On the court, in the court. Okay? Now in both courts, on the basketball court, you have a referee that's wearing black stripes, and in the courtroom, you have a referee that's wearing a black robe. Come, same thing. It's a referee. It's a referee. Okay, so we've gotten away from the we've gotten away from we as Americans, we have gotten away from acknowledging the judges as referees for some reason, and I think it's out of ignorance.
It's out of ignorance.
It's out
Yeah,
of ignorance.
it's definitely out of ignorance.
I know that it's out of ignorance that people go to court in front of judges and they're scared. What you scared of? What you scared of? That's a person that's at work and can do no more than what the book allows them to do. Okay? And in any time they try to make you feel like it's anything other than that, they're lying and it's unconstitutional. Period, point blank. That's it. And that's why a judge has, let me say this again too. That's why a judge has an oath to uphold the Constitution and not anything else. They have an oath. Let me say that again. They have an oath to uphold the Constitution before they sit in that seat. So the senators and a lot of other government officials, they have an oath to that Constitution because that Constitution is the supreme law of the lands. Huh? So, yes, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Pretty much, they're abusing processes, and people are so ignorant, and attorneys they'll blackball the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they'll blackball them if you have an attorney that's passionate and that really want to get you the result that is fair according to the law. They in Columbus, Ohio, in Franklin County, they will blackball that attorney. Okay? They will blackball them. So the attorney is not going to put food and well-being on the line for a complete stranger. So now you see how the whole Franklin County domestic court has been perverted. It's perverted. It's perverted. It need cleaned up. They need to drain the swamp down there. Carl?
We gonna drain the swamp.
Carl? Yeah, they need to clear. It definitely needs the swamp needs to be drained down there. I mean, you can just look at it. You can go to Google and just see that with just Google alone. But we have an ongoing investigation, and we have investigative tools that gives us our information, and we have contacts just like they have contacts. We have people we can call in favors and that just like they have. Okay? It's a two-way street. Okay? So I think that's going to be all. Do you have anything else you want to add?
The only thing I could say is like if you're an American citizen and you're living here, you need to really familiarize yourself with the law, with the Constitution, the laws. Those are good. You wanna?
The Constitution. I'm gonna make this real simple for y'all, and you guys get to thank me later. I'm gonna make this real simple for you. The Constitution, okay, is the supreme law of the land. Let me explain to you what that means. That means if you don't know no other laws, if you only know the Constitution, then you know all the laws. Let me say that again. Let me say it again. If you know the Constitution, then you know all the laws. You know all of them. Okay? Because no law can be repugnant to it. All the laws that are made in the United States of America by the company called the United States are birthed from that Constitution. Let me say it again. All of the laws of the land are birthed from the Constitution. Okay? So, when they say your ignorance of the law is no excuse, I'm sure someone heard that before. Your ignorance of the law is no excuse. I'm doing this. Boom. You want to know why? It's because all you have to know is the Constitution. You don't have to know all the laws. You know the Constitution. The Constitution is where all the laws are birthed from, because they have to structure them around that Constitution. You see what I mean? They have to structure those laws around that Constitution. So that's why them judges, they have to have them oaths, baby. They have to have them oaths before they sit on that bench. They have to have that oath. They have to have sign the oath. And the oath is public record. You can get any judge that's a judge, you can get his oath of office. Okay? And that's a contract that states that he's going to uphold that Constitution. Okay? Because all the laws that he are refereeing over is governed by that Constitution. It's that simple, but nobody is explaining it like this. Everybody is saying, oh, look up this law, this. Nobody's explaining it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Nobody's explaining it like that. Again, because that goes back to what I said. They want to make things harder, and they want to make things seem more complex than they are, so they can make money. That's all. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. I'm sick to my stomach. Because I could just imagine how many people is being railroaded. And with that, we gonna close on that. Okay?
Peace out. That's it.
Ciao.